Hey YouTube, what's up? This is JC Modern Warfare, and I'm sure you saw that I have the new intro now on my videos, so hope you guys like that. But I did say that there's going to be a new video Friday, which there will be, but today I thought I'd make this video in tribute of somebody who has inspired me in my filmmaking path, and also somebody who has been a favorite director of mine, especially in the horror subgenre, and that is, of course, none other than horror master himself, Romero, who passed away yesterday at the age of 77. There's really not a whole lot I can say, other than the fact of me seeing his movies and whatnot, but the thing that surprised me about Romero was the fact that I had seen of course, Night of the Living Dead. That was the very first zombie horror movie I saw, and of course I've seen Dawn and Day of the Dead as well, and of course I've seen some of his other movies aside from that. But yeah, so where to start really is back. What surprised me about George Romero was that he was one of the cameramen on the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood show, which was a favorite show of mine growing up. So I was really surprised to learn that. Especially because I was kind of like, okay, how do zombies and Mr. Rogers mix together? Because they really don't. One's a children's show, and one is a horror movie director. But surprisingly, George Romero got his start on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And often George Romero would say things that Mr. Rogers was a great man, and that he was a kind, gentle soul, which he was in real life. Especially me growing up on the show, not on the show, but growing up with the show, I could tell that's the kind of person he was. Anyways, back to George Romero. I always remember for the longest time I was actually afraid to watch zombie movies. I know it might sound kind of crazy, but it's kind of true actually. It was mostly due to the fact that I didn't really find enjoyment in watching a movie where a bunch of undead creatures rip apart people and eat them and whatnot. But then a friend of mine got me to watch Night of the Living Dead, and he told me, oh, if you haven't seen zombie movies and you want to kind of break out of that, this is the perfect place to start. It's in black and white. Yeah, I ended up watching Night of the Living Dead for the first time. He loaned a copy of it to me, and then I watched Night of the Living Dead, and I was actually pulled in by it, which surprised me. I didn't think a zombie film would ever pull me in and keep me entertained, but surprisingly Night of the Living Dead did that. And to this day, Night of the Living Dead is actually my favorite zombie movie. I know a lot of other people like to go for things like The Walking Dead or Dawn of the Dead or things like that, but for me it's Night of the Living Dead. That is the original classic American zombie movie. Of course, a few years later I ended up watching Dawn of the Dead, and we're not talking remake, I'm talking original, because the remakes have nothing really to do with George A. Romero. But I ended up watching Dawn of the Dead, and that was a big step for me, especially since Night of the Living Dead was in black and white, so it really wasn't as bad, because of the fact that all the blood could have just easily been chocolate syrup sprayed all over the people, and the zombies are just licking up the chocolate syrup and eating stuff like that. But with Dawn of the Dead being in color, that was a whole new thing for me, and it was at the time Dawn of the Dead that I actually outgrew my fear of zombies. And when that happened, then I realized that I had come this far, and I didn't really think I was going to watch anything else zombie related, because when I look at a lot of zombie movies, especially today, other than The Walking Dead, of course, they really don't have a big standard plot like the George Romero ones did. And that's one of the things I loved about George Romero, is even though he made a horror movie, he still gave a plot behind it. With Night of the Living Dead, it's these people stuck in an abandoned cabin, and they all have to work together even though they don't like each other to survive the zombie outbreak. And it's kind of similar again in Dawn of the Dead. So, and then of course you have Day of the Dead, where pretty much nobody likes each other, but I'm not going to spoil too much, but again, they all have to work together to try and survive the zombie outbreak. Of course, one of the characters doesn't exactly want to work with everybody. I'm not going to give too much away, but if you've seen Day of the Dead, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But if not, go check all those movies out. But George Romero was definitely a big step in my life, especially with helping me outgrow my fear of zombies and being able to sit down and actually enjoy a movie that's both sick and entertaining at the same time. That's really all I have to say about George Romero, so that's pretty much the main focus of this video, but there's also some other things I wanted to clear up in this video as well, so that I don't have to make 2 other videos. So, I figured out a new formula for my channel and how my channel is going to run from now on. I know I said that in my last update video, but I actually have the full out schedule of how it's going to work from now on. So, I'm going to try and have a video out each week. I might miss a week here or there. If I do, I apologize, but especially with school going to be starting in about a month, it's going to get a little bit more tricky, so I might have to move it to every other week when that happens. But during the rest of the summer, I'm going to try and have one each week. So the way the format's going to work is that I'm going to use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to work on a script. I've never really used a script before on this channel. I've always just winged it, but I realized it's actually a little bit easier when you have all your thoughts together and have everything that you want to say on a piece of paper. Then it's a little easier to know where you're gonna go with it. And if I can figure out camera angles and B-roll before the actual shooting of the video, I have a little bit of the hiccups, I apologize. But what did I say? Oh, and because I have a lot of that, you know, if I get all that stuff done beforehand, then I can easily make a video later on. So I'm going to use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to write a script. I'm going to shoot Thursday, hopefully edit the video that night, and then upload it on Friday. And then I have the weekend to do whatever I'd like. So that's how I'm going to try and work it on this channel from now on. And another thing that some people want to know that I didn't answer in my last question video is, are you still doing your tribute to PBS? And if you haven't guessed, that's the video I'm trying to get out this Friday. So the tribute to PBS, a lot of people have been wondering, am I still working on that? What am I going to do with that? Have I dropped the project? Nope, it's still in the works. I'm writing a script. I actually started the script last week. I'm hoping to finish it by Thursday so I can shoot the video. Hoping to finish it. I think I said Thursday. I meant Wednesday. I'm going to have it finished Wednesday and then shoot the video Thursday and then hopefully have it uploaded either Friday or Saturday. So, yeah, so that's the big project that's coming. I'm trying to take this as seriously as I can because PBS has been a big part of my life, especially PBS Kids. So the first part of my tribute is just going to be regular PBS programming. So basically the way it's going to work is I'm going to do a tribute, like a little bit of the history, what makes PBS so special, and then a few of my favorite shows that I recommend to anybody who either hasn't watched PBS or somebody who has but just doesn't know what they like, or just people who want to know my favorites in general. So there's that out of the way. So that's the new video coming. The other question I get surprisingly a lot now, even though the video hasn't even hit 1,000 views yet. I'm not saying that that's not bad, but we're pretty high on the video count. But surprisingly, the video I get questions on since I did a video reaction to it is, of course, Traces of Death. I know in the last video I made, I talked a little bit about that, why I got into it. But this time, I'm actually getting people asking me now, are you going to do a part 2 or are you going to get other friends to react to it? I hate to say this, but I think for now, Traces of Death is done on my channel. It wasn't something I really wanted to do anyways at first, but I mainly did it because I saw Steve from Shock Extreme Productions make the video, and I thought it'd be a fun challenge to do. Of course, I realized I was wrong, and I ended up getting really grossed out and sick by it, but you know, so I don't think that there's going to be a part 2, but who knows? I mean, it could happen in the near future. I'm not saying that it's going to go away forever. It's just not going to happen anytime in the near future, meaning that it's not going to happen anytime within, you know, the next few months or year or so. It's going to be a while down the road before that ever comes back. But I just thought I'd clear that up right now because there are some people who have been egging me and been asking me, are we going to get to see a part 2? I know Steve is working on a part 2 of his reaction with some other friends of his, and I really hope to see that soon. doesn't mean I'm gonna stop watching the reactions. Or I know in my intro I do use some of the Traces of Death music because I thought it sounded kind of cool, especially that one song. I thought it was kind of interesting how some of the music, especially the keyboard music, works. I think that's really cool. But with the footage wise, it just didn't. It's just not something I like to watch and stuff that I want to see every single day. But like I said, maybe in the future we'll revive it. I mean, heck, I mean, I make, if I get, new friends or something. I'm not saying I don't have any friends now, but I'm just saying, you make friends throughout life. Maybe I'll get some of them to watch in the future. Maybe, who knows, if I ever get married, maybe we'll get my girlfriend or wife to watch it. Who knows? But this is stuff for the future. It's definitely not happening anytime in the near future. I hate to say it, but if you guys really want to see it, then keep subscribing and keep commenting, and we'll see what happens. So anyways, I just thought I'd make this video, especially in memory of George Romero, and then just give you guys a little bit of framework about what's going on with my videos. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.